First thing we're going to do is we're going to put on our safety goggles. Second thing we're going to do is put on our gloves, because lye is caustic and is not good for the skin until it's used in the saponification. Next, we're going to measure out our distilled water on our scale. Make sure you tare it, which means zero it with the container. Measure it out. The other things I have are coconut oil and olive oil, and those are already measured out. I'm showing you with the water how to measure that. Okay, my camera is crazy. It's going to zoom in and out. I don't know why. First thing we're going to do is we're going to mix the lye. You are not supposed to mix the water into the lye if you do not make soap regularly. I do it, but it's not recommended. So instead you should mix the lye into the water. But I did not. Shame on me. Anyhow, moving on. We mix it up, and then we're going to use what we have to my side. There is a heat gun or temp gun, usually used with air ducts and whatnot. I don't really know, but it tells me what the temperature is. Much easier than dunking stuff into lye water, which seems terrible. So as you can see, it's 168 degrees, which is rather hot. We're using a crock pot here to melt down our coconut oil. And we're going to heat that till it melts, and then add the olive oil to that to bring it back down to a lower temperature. So you can see we're at see how that's high. We're going to mix that in, and that's going to bring the temperature down. What we're going to do is mix the lye water with the oil when they are close to 10 degrees from each other, usually between 100 degrees and 120 degrees, and within 10. So we're good. Next, we're going to measure out our essential oil, which is lavender for this one. I use about 20 milliliters for this 2-pound loaf, which is enough to be medicinal, but not enough to be overly fragrant, which my theory is you don't need to have smelly soap because it goes down the drain. So we're going to mix our oils and then our lye water into the oil. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Get it in there. Again, the camera does not want to focus. And then what we're going to use is this tool beside me, which is just an immersion blender or a stick blender. You can get these at any kitchen store. Most people use them to make soup. I use mine just for making soap. Close enough, soup and soap, ha ha ha. We're going to mix it until it comes to what is called a light trace, which is, in my opinion, kind of like a mayonnaise. And then I'll need to add the essential oil to that. See, there we go. And then we're going to blend it to a full trace, which is very much like the consistency of pudding. Then we are going to mix that all together with the immersion blender and scrape with the rubber spoon. Sorry, I said rubber, it's actually silicone, but it's scrapey. And then we're going to pour this into a silicone mold inside of a wood frame. And I've figured out the calculations on this to fit just enough into that mold. Ta-da, there it is. We will cover it and then we will cut it. Thank you, everybody.